whispers on the iron rails. The sun hung low over the desolate plains, casting long, eerie shadows across the landscape. The rhythmic clatter of steel wheels on iron rails was the only sound in the vast emptiness as a lone train forged its way westward. Inside, passengers chatted idly, unaware of the figure lurking above them. Red Jack, a notorious outlaw with a reputation that preceded him, moved stealthily along the train's roof. His eyes, sharp and restless, scanned the horizon before he dropped down onto the moving car. This was supposed to be a routine job, quick and easy. But as his boots hit the train's metal surface, a chill ran down his spine. Sliding into the first passenger car, revolver in hand, Jack barked his orders. "Empty your pockets. Now." The passengers, wide-eyed and trembling, began to comply. Jewelry, wallets, and coins were thrust forward. But something was off. Shadows seemed to flicker and twist in the dim lamplight, and faces contorted into grotesque visages before snapping back to normal. As Jack's eyes roved over the terrified passengers, he began to see familiar faces, phantoms from his past. The first was a banker, his eyes wide with terror as Jack held a revolver to his head. The memory crashed over him, the banker's desperate pleas, the accidental pull of the trigger, the lifeless body slumping to the floor. Jack had never meant to do it. He just wanted the money. He shook off the uneasy feeling and moved to the next car. But the strangeness only intensified. A woman's shadow morphed into a monstrous shape on the wall, and for a moment, Jack was back in that dusty town, staring down a woman who had tried to hide her wedding ring. He remembered the look of betrayal in her eyes as he tore it from her finger, her sobs echoing in his ears. A child's eyes glowed momentarily with an unnatural light, and Jack's heart pounded harder. He remembered a raid on a small village. The wee children had cried as he and his gang tore through their homes. He had never wanted to harm them, but fear and desperation had driven him. As he moved through the cars, the air grew colder, the light dimmer. Voices whispered in a language he couldn't understand, weaving a haunting melody that burrowed into his mind. A man's reflection in the window grinned wickedly at him, while the man himself sobbed in terror. The atmosphere grew thick with an unseen presence, shadows lengthening and warping around him. Suddenly, a shot rang out. Pain seared through Jack's shoulder as a hidden passenger fired a concealed revolver. He stumbled back, clutching his bleeding wound, cursing under his breath. He retreated, pushing through the cars as the air grew heavier, each step feeling like a battle against an invisible force. Reaching the final car, Jack burst through the door, his breath ragged. There stood Sheriff Hawkins, his presence imposing. But something was wrong. His eyes glinted with a malevolent light, and his smile was too wide, too knowing. "Red Jack," the sheriff drawled, his voice low and mocking. "Thought you could outrun the law forever, did you?" Jack aimed his revolver, his hand trembling. "Stay back, Hawkins. I ain't going down without a fight." The sheriff chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down Jack's spine. "Fight? Oh, Jack, there's no fight left in you. How about you just jump off this train and save us both the trouble?" Jack's mind reeled. This wasn't the sheriff he knew. The man before him was playing with him, words dripping with malice. The car seemed to close in, the walls warping and shifting. "What's the matter, Jack?" Feeling a bit unsteady. The sheriff stepped closer, his form flickering like a candle in the wind. "You're not afraid of a little jump, are you?" Jack's grip tightened on his revolver, but doubt gnawed at him. "What's happening, Hawkins? What are you doing to me?" The sheriff's smile widened, his eyes blazing with an unholy fire. "Oh, Jack, you're already lost. This train, it's not just a train. It's a passage, and you're just another soul for the taking." As he spoke, his features twisted, becoming more demonic. His skin darkened, veins bulging and eyes burning like coals. Horns sprouted from his forehead, and a forked tongue flicked between sharpened teeth. Jack's sanity teetered on the edge, the sight overwhelming his mind. The sheriff's voice was a hiss now, dripping with malevolence. "Jump, Jack. There's no escape. Jump and end your misery." Jack's mind snapped. With a scream, he leapt from the moving train, disappearing into the night. The train rolled on, its passengers oblivious to the horror among them. The entity, now fully revealed, turned its gaze forward, eager for the next destination. Shadows deepened, and a sense of dread settled over the land. In the Wild West, where legends and nightmares walked hand in hand, one lesson was clear. Some evils are unseen, lurking just beyond the veil of reality.